I think charcoal grilled kebabs are one of the tastiest foods, but you can't exactly grill them outdoors when the weather is cold and wet. Being the kebab addict I am, I wanted to find out what is the best technique for cooking kebabs indoors that gives you succulent and juicy results like those from a grill. To do that, I prepared and cooked some delicious chicken kebabs using 3 simple indoor techniques, and then I put them head to head in a blind taste test to find the best one, and a clear winner emerged.
This one's the juiciest?
Yeah, this was the juiciest by far.
Now that's our opinion. Which of these 3 kebabs do you think looks juiciest? A, B, or C? If you chose B, that's the same one we voted for, and it's also the only one that resembles a charcoal grilled kebab in taste and texture. Before we get into the experiment, let's define what it is that makes a charcoal grilled kebab so good. For me, it comes down to 3 things. First, how juicy and succulent the meat is after cooking. Second, the charring that adds flavour and texture to the meat. And third, how even the cook is all the way through. Those are the 3 elements we'll be looking for during our blind taste test. But how is it that a charcoal grill achieves that? In short, the hot coals of a grill cook food by radiating heat at it and by blasting it with hot air on all sides, which is called convection. If we can replicate that indoors, then we should get a similar result. The 3 methods we'll put head to head are pan grilling, which doesn't use any radiant or convection heat, oven grilling, which uses a little radiant and mostly convection heat, and then air frying, which packs loads more radiant and convection heat into a small space.
Now for this experiment, Kusori wanted to get in on the action, and they sent over their dual blaze 6.4 litre air fryer. This has got a special feature which I think is going to make amazing kebabs. Here it is all unpacked. It's got a 6.4 litre extra large basket which can take a 2.5 kilo chicken or plenty of fries for the whole family. There's 12 different cooking functions to choose from, or you can change the temperature and time yourself. What makes this truly special is inside. Not only do you have a heating element up top, but you also have one down below, and that means there is heat radiating at the food from both sides, giving you a more even and faster cook. For kebabs, that's going to be amazing. Thank you to Kusori for sponsoring this video, and now let's put it through its paces.
Now for this to be a fair experiment, we need to cook the exact same recipe using each technique, and so today's test will involve cooking skewers of flavourful chicken shish tawuk. This is one of the most flavourful chicken marinades, but I chose it because this is a realistic kebab recipe and something I make on a regular basis. To make the marinade, add 30 grams of tomato paste and 20 grams of yogurt to a bowl. Add in 3 cloves of minced garlic, 1.5 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice, 20 grams of olive oil and 7 grams of white vinegar. Season with 1 teaspoon each of salt and paprika, 3/4 teaspoon of white pepper, 1/2 teaspoon each of Greek oregano and ground coriander, then 1/4 teaspoon each of ground ginger and ground cardamom. Leave out any spices you're missing and just whisk that all together to turn into one of the most aromatic marinades you'll ever make. This is great for any protein, but it's best with chicken. I'm using boneless chicken thighs for this experiment as I want really moist results, but you can use breast if you want. Prepare 500 grams of boneless chicken thighs by trimming off the excess fat, then slice them into 3 roughly equal pieces. When folded, the pieces should be similar in size to ensure an even cook. That also means the skewers we're cooking will be identical across the different techniques, but you don't need to fold these chunks yet. Add the chicken to the marinade and mix it well to coat all of the nooks and crannies. Let this sit for at least half an hour, but the longer the better. Measure some wooden skewers and cut them to size if you're using an air fryer, then let them soak in a tray filled with water for 15 minutes. To assemble the skewers, fold the pieces of chicken in half and skewer them through the middle of each piece so it's centered. Use pieces of the same size on each skewer so you have a uniform thickness, and after 4 to 5 pieces they'll look like this. The pieces of chicken should be touching each other, but they shouldn't be squished together or compacted, otherwise they won't cook through. And now that you've prepared these, it's time to choose your cooking method. For the pan grilled method, place a stainless steel pan on the stove over medium-high heat and add a splash of vegetable oil. When the oil is shimmering, add a couple of skewers to the pan and cook for about 4 minutes. When that's up, flip them over to the second side and cook for 4 more minutes. At this point you could add a little water and cover the pan to trap in the steam and moisture, but that dissolves the char, which is one of our criteria. Instead, leave it uncovered, then flip it onto the 2 remaining sides for another 4 minutes each. Personally, I find this technique messy and it just smokes up the whole kitchen, so I don't really use it. When the chicken reaches at least 72 degrees Celsius all over, it's time to pull it out, and here's the result. Overall, it looks alright. There is some decent charring on it which you need for a kebab, but it does look singed in the spots where it touched the pan. Looking at the cross section, you can see a variation of doneness, from almost overcooked on the outside to perfectly cooked in the middle. It's not the best, but this is definitely more than edible. For the oven cooked method, take an oven tray and place a stainless steel wire rack on top. This keeps the meat from touching the tray so it doesn't get singed. If you're only doing a few pieces of chicken, you can lay them on the rack to grill them, but we're doing whole skewers today. Place the skewers on the rack, then move the tray to the oven and cook at 200 degrees Celsius with the grill or broiler turned on. Let it cook for 10 minutes, then flip the chicken over and let it cook for 10 to 15 minutes more. Once it reads 72 degrees Celsius all over, you can pull the skewers out. Now these look less charred than the pan fried ones and they also seem juicier. The cross section shows a more even doneness all the way through. But is this the best that we can do? For the air fryer method, the Cosori dual blaze doesn't need preheating, so we can just add the skewers in, but most air fryers do need to preheat. Slide the basket in, then turn on the air fryer and select the chicken mode. That'll set it to 200 degrees Celsius, and you just need to change the time to 14 minutes and let it run. There's no need to flip these over in the Cosori thanks to the lower heating element, and when the time's up they should be fully cooked through. The skewers look brilliant, they've got a really nice char on top and they look pretty moist all over. These almost look like they came off a grill. The cross section is a perfect example of ultra juicy chicken. It's got a nice even cook all the way through and it's full of visible moisture. I think these are going to be pretty good. Here's all three techniques side by side once more, and I think it's clear which one looks best. Now before we try them, you might be wondering if you'd get the same result from any air fryer, so we made a skewer in another air fryer the exact same way to compare them. And because this is not a dual blaze, we had to flip it over to cook on the second side halfway through. Comparing the skewers, you have a much nicer char on top of the dual blaze one, and I think it looks juicier, but let's see if we can tell the difference between them in a blind taste test.
Okay. This one is way better. Yeah, that's the Cosori definitely.
Yeah, you're correct. Was this the Cosori?
Yes, it was. Which one was better?
This one's juicier, so yeah, my vote is for this one.
So the Cosori definitely wins between the two air fryers, but now let's see which method wins overall.
Alright Salma, I want you to try each one and then pick your favourite.
Oh, that is big. Really good. That's juicy. Very juicy.
Now, which one is your favourite?
This one.
Which one is your least favourite?
This one. This one's the juiciest. It's really, really juicy. Then comes this, and then this is the least juicy.
Do you want to guess which one is the air fryer?
My guess is this.
That's one vote for the Cosori dual blaze, but will I also think the same?
Clear winner.
Which one do you think was the juiciest?
This one, by far. I'm pretty sure this is the Cosori as well. This one was the least juicy. This one was a bit juicier, but it had a bit of a toughish texture. But yeah, this was the juiciest by far. So there you have it, 2 blind taste tests and 2 votes that say air fryers make the best indoor kebabs. If you want to eat juicy kebabs all winter long, there's a limited time 22% discount on the Cosori dual blaze. Click the link in the description to get yourself one and make some incredible kebabs at home.